Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all an update to my Melffy Yugioh deck profile for post Power of the Elements. We got some new Melffy support in the latest Yu-Gi-Oh booster set in the form of a new Melffy Synchro monster and two new main deck monsters along with a new spell. The Synchro monster definitely does add to the playstyle of the Melffy deck. It's always been an Xyz kind of deck that focuses on making different rank 2 Xyz monsters, but now we have a level 4 Synchro monster to add to the mix, just adding for the overall playstyle, so it's only a matter of time until we get a fusion monster and even maybe a link monster to use for the Melffy cards. Very happy with the results of the deck. I may make a sprite version. This is a pure Melffy deck for this build, but if most of you request it, I will go for a more competitive build that uses more of the powerful sprite monsters, the rank 2 and link 2 options. Very strong with the Melffy deck. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the main deck monsters for the new Melffy support, I am running 3 Melffy Wally. It is a beast non-tuner if your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the hand. Then you can special summon 2 Melffy monsters from your deck with different names from each other except for Melffy Wally. And during your end phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use each effect of Wally once per turn. This is your go-to setup for a good majority of your plays, whether it be for your Melffy Synchro play or your Melffy Xyz play. You have all of these options available to you thanks to Melffy Wally just being an easy special summon option. Some of the other ones had search power and bounce power. This one just relies completely on you getting out more Melffy monsters onto the field for you to use. I also run 3 of the tuner monster for the Melffys, which is Melffy Penny. If a face-up monster, beast monster you control, was returned to the hand except during the turn except Melffy Penny, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then immediately after this effect resolves, synchro summon 1 synchro monster using only this card you control and a Melffy monster in your hand during your end phase. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 beast Xyz monster you control, attach it to this card as a material. You can only use this effect of Penny once per turn. So Penny is meant to set up the synchro monster, and then the synchro monster can in turn summon out an Xyz monster for your Melffys. So then being able to attach Penny onto that Xyz monster gives you the resource needed to use that Xyz monster the following turn. Because if you just special summon out a Melffy Xyz monster with no material, you can't really do much to it. But it becomes a tuner monster that in turn is also very powerful as an Xyz material. For some of the other older Melffy support, I still run the 3 Melffy Puppy. With this card, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if opponent's monster targets this card with an attack, you can return this card to the hand, then special summon 1 level 2 or lower beast monster from your deck except for Melffy Puppy. So with this play, being able to have the face-up beast monster return to the hand except for Penny to special summon this card out gives you that play with Penny as the setup to then have the additional Melffy monster you return to your hand be the synchro target for your synchro summon. I also run 3 Melffy Caddy. With this card, when it's returned to the hand, adding 1 beast monster from your deck to your hand except for Melffy Caddy as an additional chain option, with your Penny as being one of the cards added, can then in turn chain in respawn being a quick effect to the return Caddy to special summon out on the field and use that Caddy on the field for the synchro play. It all comes down to just being a very easy synchro setup to use in this deck. Wally can help with the additional Xyz play and Penny can help with the synchro plays. I also run 1 Melffy Fenny and 1 Pony for more of the graveyard options. I no longer run the Rescue Rabbit and Melffy Bunny play. I just find Wally and Penny to be much more faster for the Melffy play altogether. So just 1 Pony and Fenny for graveyard recycle for that. For the additional generic monsters that I run in the deck, still running the 3 Rescue Cat. This just during your turn can help for any of the other beast monsters to summon out to give you then an Xyz play. I don't run the Rescue Rabbit, but Rescue Cat still very viable for the special summon. I also run 3 Calantosa, Mythical Beast of the Forest. If it's special summoned by the effect of a beast type monster, you can target 1 card on the field and destroy it. Just more destruction power in the form of this card. I run 3, so you have plenty of option targets to destroy out on the field using this card. And lastly, for the beast monsters, I also run 2 of the Valorfawn, Mystical Beast of the Forest. You can discard 1 card to target 1 level 2 or lower beast monster in your graveyard, except for Valorfawn, Mystical Beast of the Forest, and special summon it in attack position, letting you also recycle your Calantosas for the special summon. And since it counts as a special summon from a beast type monster, you can destroy a card on the field with this card and then have your option for your other monsters you have on the field to even use these 2 cards for the synchro summon of Merry Melffy, since it is a pretty generic synchro monster. And then for the last of the main deck effect monsters, just 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, hand trap of choice for stopping a lot of your opponent's searches in any play that they may want to do, whether it be graveyard setup or adding cards from the deck to their hand. That is it for the monsters. Moving on to the spells, I run 2 Melffy Staring contests. You can reveal 1 beast monster in your hand, add 1 Melffy monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and then place that revealed monster on the bottom of the deck. You can only use this effect of Melffy Staring contest once per turn. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can reveal any number of Melffy monsters in your hand and keep them revealed during that battle phase. Only monsters your opponent control lose attack equal to the combined attack and defense of the revealed cards by this effect. So adding and revealing those Melffy monsters to then just special summon out to the field gives you more of a powerhouse than your opponent may have. The Melffy monsters are pretty weak, but the bigger in numbers you have, the bigger the attack loss to your opponent's monsters will be. And also being able to recycle some of your other beast monsters back into the deck to add a much more preferred Melffy monster to use can help to get any of those bad dead draws like Kalantosa, which doesn't really do much in your hand to begin with. I also run 2 Melffy Tag for the quick play. You target a Melffy monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can activate 1 per turn, but just a quick play spell to set up another otherwise dead Melffy monster in your deck or graveyard, as I said, back into the field to bounce back to the hand to reuse. I also run 3 Ayers Rock Sunrise as an additional Monster Reborn kind of target for your beast monsters. You could take out one of these cards for a Monster Reborn spot if you have it. It's just most of the time you are just special summoning out beast monsters, and Ayers Rock Sunrise has the additional option of being able to make your opponent's monster currently lose 200 attack for each beast monster in your graveyard currently, meaning you can hit the pretty big numbers late game when you use this card to make your opponent's monster even weaker. I also run 3 Obedience School. I do have 1 Call by the Grave to fill in the 1 spot since I only had 2 copies of Obedience School, but more special summon options with this card. Their effects are negated and they are destroyed during the end phase. And if you activate this card, you cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except for beast type monsters. So with this play, if you control no monsters, to special summon 3 level 2 or lower beast monsters with different names from your deck, having their effects are negated and destroyed during the end phase, but being able to special summon for the rest of the turn except for beast monsters doesn't really limit you at all, because it just gives you 3 resources on the field to then use for other extra deck monsters. And that is it for the spells. Moving on now to the traps. I run 2 Melffy Playhouse. You detach any number of materials from Beast Exceeds monsters you control, then target that many cards your opponent controls and return them to the hand. And all Beast Exceeds monsters you control gain 500 attack for each material detached to activate this. So depending on the Melffy monster or Beast Exceeds monster you have, you can hit some pretty big numbers and bounce back some pesky cards your opponent may have using this trap. With the final trap in the deck just being 3 Infinite Impermanence, just another good way to respond to your opponent's cards, along with Ash Blossom if you went second against your opponent, and any monster they may summon out onto the field. That is it for the main deck. We'll now move on to the extra deck. For the new Synchro monster, I'm running 3 of the Merry Melffys. If this card is special summon, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field, return it to the hand. If your opponent normal or special summons a monster except during the damage step, or if an opponent's monster targets this card for an attack, you can return this card to the extra deck and special summon 1 Melffy Exceeds monster to the field. You can only use each effect of Merry Melffys once per turn. So with this option, being able to return this card to the extra deck for that Synchro play, you can ideally just summon out any other Melffy Exceeds monster, and then if you have your tuner monster, like I said before, being Melffy Penny in the graveyard, attached onto that Exceeds monster gives you the detached resource needed to then utilize that Exceeds monster. I also run 2 Melffy of the Forest for more of the search power, with just 1 detached to add 1 Melffy card from your deck to your hand. And if another Melffy monster you control returns to your hand except during the damage step, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and it cannot, basically with its card your opponent controls, and it cannot attack. Also, its effects are negated while this card's face up on the field. I also run 2 Joyous Melffys as another option for the rank 2 plays, to then have your Melffy monsters attack directly against your opponent. The 2 Melffy Mommy for the additional options for how many Exceeds materials are on this card. It works very, very well with your Obedience School, just being able to then overlay all 3 of them into this Exceeds monster. For the detached play, to work very, very well with your trap also. And for the last of the Exceeds monsters, just 1 Ronin Raccoon Sanayu to match a token up to the strongest monster your opponent may have. For the Link monsters, I run 1 Mrs. Radiant, 1 Tri-Brigade Farishit, the Baron Blossom, 1 Firefighting Doll, Daruma Doll, and also 1 Cross Sheep, along with 1 Boral Sword Dragon as one of the bigger boss monsters to use. If you have Appaloosa or access code, this could also be another spot to put in for it, with all the different options being the Fire and Earth monsters for the attributes to banish off of it. As for some of the new go-to plays in the deck, the big one definitely does revolve around your new tuner monster being your Melffy Penny when a face-up beast monster is returned to the hand, except during the damage step quick effect. This card being Melffy Penny, you have the option to then have at least one other Melffy monster, and that being your play. If your opponent has a stronger monster on the field swinging into your card, you can use that Melffy monster, bouncing it back to the hand, responding with Penny for the special summon, and then Penny saying you can use that monster as the synchro in your hand as material, using both of them to then go into the synchro play of your Merry Melffys, and when it's special summon, targeting a face-up monster on the field, returning it to the hand, so you can just take care of your opponent's monster just like that. Having the Penny in the graveyard, using the Merry Melffy to then go into an Xyz monster, and then attaching that Penny onto that card. Very, very useful, because then the following turn, you'll have the detach off of that card to then search out a much more useful Melffy monster to your hand. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoy the video. I was very happy with the results of the new support we got for the Melffy deck. It definitely does add to the playstyle of the deck as a whole, and I hope you all enjoy it as well. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.